Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. I'm Stu, and today we've brought out something slightly different. It is just a sniper rifle, but it sits in a very cool bracket in Airsoft, with it being probably one of the best budget-friendly platforms that we've had on the live stream. So if you're just starting out, thinking sniping might be a thing, maybe you've played a few games, you've already got some bits, or you've already sort of had an M4 maybe, and you think, I want to try sniping for a bit, this is definitely an option for you. So as always, I'll start at the front and work my way back. It is obviously a very budget platform, so there's not an amazing amount of features on this, but it still does tick a lot of boxes for people starting out. And even just if you've been playing a while and you just want a sniper as a backup, this thing's very, very light and will definitely fit in a good bracket. So on the front, there is no thread or anything on this. It is as it comes. It's sort of a bull style front end, so it is quite a short barrel, but there's nothing on the front, so you can't change that, unfortunately. Again, just keeps it in that budget. It is sort of polymer and plastic. There are some bits that I would definitely say are plastic rather than polymer, so just be aware of that. Again, if you're being a sniper, you're not really rushing around and slamming into trees or anything like that. You're being quite delicate, you're being quite purposeful. So again, it's not built to take a battering, let's say. It is about 340 FPS out the box, so knocking on the door of that 300 with a slightly heavier BB in, it will probably just creep slightly over that 400 FPS. So it sits in that DMR bracket, but it is obviously a bolt action. One of the biggest pros about this is the fact that it is only about 1.5-ish kilos, a little smidge above 1.5. So for a sniper rifle, weighs basically nothing. So if you want to run this and an AEG as a backup, that's totally doable. You could run this and like an ARP or a DSG Firehawk or something like that, and you wouldn't be over encumbered with having too much kit. So as I was saying, the barrel is plastic, the receiver and stock are plastic, the rail is plastic as well. What sort of range is expected from this? Tom Vickers on YouTube. Range is one of them things that is exceptionally difficult for us to sort of put a figure on, because there are so many factors involved. It depends on how much hop you've got applied. It depends on what weight BB you're using. Each one out of the box might have a slight FPS fluctuation. So for example, I chronoed this one and it's doing 380 FPS. There might be others that might be slightly more, slightly less. And again, using different weight BBs, you have what is called dual creep. So it might get a little bit more power and just you might get a little bit more out of it. You are comfortably going to get a decent range out of it. It's going to reach out a little bit further than a standard AEG, purely because it does have that extra power behind it. You're not going to reach out 70, 80, 90 meters like some people claim with some sniper rifles or anything like that. You're sort of just going to be slightly reaching beyond most AEGs. But what will be quite good with this is you won't be going to the super heavyweights because of the budget and probably what's inside it, with it being a 6.08 millimeter in a barrel. You're going to sort of sit around that maybe 0.3, 0.32 gram BBs. There's no point throwing all the way up to 4s, 4.3s. I've not fully tested the hop system inside this, so I don't even know if it's capable. It took about a third of the hop to comfortably hop a sort of 3.2, so you will have a decent amount of play with it, but I'd expect you to be able to reach sort of 30, 40 meters with this consistently. You might be able to lob it a bit further than that, but what I mean by a consistent range is take a shot, hit a target, and then maybe hit close to that target again. Again, with this being quite lightweight, it is also quite easy to pull. So the main problem that happens with some bolt action systems when they're knocking on the door of 500 FPS or 2.3 joules or whatever your power limits are in your country, when young players are starting out and they're wanting to get into sniping, that bolt pull can be extremely difficult for people to sort of get back and lock into place. With this being at that 340, it is exceptionally easy to pull. It's really, really easy to cock, and it's easy to cock very slowly as well. So sometimes when you've got the heavy bolts, you end up having to put quite a bit of effort, sort of violent action to get it back. With this, you could quite easily stealthy behind a bush with your ghillie suit on and very gently pull this back without making too much noise or interrupting your sort of cam and concealment. So we do also have some other controls on here. Obviously, it is right-handed only with the bolt being where it is. Unfortunately, it can't be swapped over. Again, this is an extremely budget-friendly platform. We do have a safety. So just behind it there, that is now on safe. That is now on fire. Be aware of the safeties that are on this side here when you do rack it. If it doesn't fire, just check that you've not knocked the safety back as you've cocked the platform. Trigger at the bottom with it does have a plastic trigger guard as well. And again, we do have the stock is part of the receiver and this is plastic. We do have a rubber butt pad, so when this is shouldered and aiming down sights, you are going to find it very, very static and very, very comfortable. We've got a couple of sling points as well. There's one on the stock and one on the front here, so you can 2-point this quite comfortably. Again, this is going to be very much designed as a backup style platform with an ARP or a DSG or something like that. It is going to be quite comfortable to lumber this around. We have got rail systems. I will state that, again, these are polymer and plastic, so if you are fitting an optic to this, make sure it is quite a lightweight optic. You don't want to be sticking a massive sniper optic on this that is going to add leverage and potentially break parts of your rail system. So it's just one of them things. With it being so budget friendly, it's just something you need to consider. Maybe get a sort of a fixed 4 times or a fixed 3 times. Don't be going for a massive 4x16 or something crazy with a metal mount and everything like that. Just get some standard low mount optics and a very lightweight optic, and it will be very, very comfortable for you. Another question from YouTube. Do you know any left-handed snipers for a newcomer? There are a few options out there. Off the top of my head, that's going to throw me slightly. There are a couple that are left-handed swappable out the box. I believe there are left-handed bolts for, I think the Striker can be made left-handed. I do believe there are aftermarket parts to make quite a few left-handed, but there's a very few. If you drop us a message on Instagram, with your name and stuff, we will try and find some examples for you and make sure you get the answer you're after. But I know there are definitely options, but there are different options between if you're wanting something that is just right-handed out the box and it is aftermarket, or if you're after something that is left-handed out the box. But drop us a message and we'll make sure we can get your question as soon as possible. So, hop-wise, we have a slider style system on the side here. So all the way forward, it is completely off. And again, you just gently pull it back, fire a shot, gently pull it back, fire a shot. And when that BB gently floats into the distance, you know that's roughly where you're at. Again, with it being a very budget friendly platform, I wouldn't really be going over 0.32s with this. I mean, I've not tested it beyond that. That's why I'm saying that. So I don't want to dissuade anyone from trying it with anything heavier than that. It's just what I've tested it at, so I have to just stick it with that. Internally wise, so we do have a 300mm barrel on this, so it is relatively short for some sniper platforms. Some are a lot longer than that, but again, it is just sort of in that decent length AEG range, but again, it does give you options to change it out, because it is a 6.08mm, so it's not quite a tight bore, so you could probably again boost that FPS if this is something that you quite like once you've tested it a little bit and you want to change a few bits about it. So I'll go over a few bits for people that have just joined us, a few bits that we covered earlier. That on the front of this, there's no thread, there's nothing to swap out or anything, so you're stuck with the sort of bull style design. We've got 2 sling points, one at the front, one at the back here. We've got a rail system at the front here as well for bipods or anything like that you want, and a rail system on the top. As I said earlier, these rail systems are plastic, so if you're running any bipods or optics, make sure they're quite lightweight and you're not putting too much force behind them, because if you put a massive heavy sniper scope on this and sort of pull it left and right, you might chip or snap the sides of them. Magazine-wise, a little button at the front there, it drops out, and this will reveal the 30-round VSR-style magazine. So again, it will be compatible with things like that. And again, having 30 rounds in a sniper is absolutely amazing as well, so it just gives you that option to not have to get spare mags or anything. You can just sort of sit this as a backup. So as I've been harping on for the entire video, this is definitely designed as someone who wants to sort of just dip their toe into sniping and see what it's about, see if it's their style of gameplay or anything, and then go from there. Or if you've already got yourself a primary and you're sort of maybe doing a sort of specific event where you know a sniper might be helpful, definitely extremely budget friendly that you can just grab one of these, take it, and just have it as a backup. The bolt is right-handed, and there is a safety on the side here. Flicking it back puts it on safe, and again, it is a right-handed bolt system. With it being 380 FPS out the box on a 0.2, you're probably going to get a bit more power if you start creeping up to the 3.2s or something like that. It does mean that the bolt pull on this is extremely light and comfortable, so if you are in a static, stealthy position and you take a shot, you will be able to reload this without giving too much away. Rubber butt pad and a plastic receiver. But yeah, so this is the Double Eagle M52. I think a few people will be very, very excited to get their hands on these. It is a really, really cool system. And again, it's not going to compete with all these high-end sort of top-profile ones that people have dumped loads into and are reaching out to many exaggerated meters. But it gives you the option to just try out sniping, see what it entails, because I've tried sniping and unfortunately I can't. My patience doesn't last long enough, so I end up running around, so it's not really for me. So again, it's just something to dip your toe into. You can have it as a backup, you can have it as a spare. Again, if you're tired at the end of the day and you've got one of these, you can just pull it out, play that last game as a sniper at the back and just plink a few rounds off. It just means that you're not sat out that last game because you don't want to be running around with all your kit on. So definitely has a purpose. Really, really cool. But yeah, so this has been the Double Eagle M52 bolt action. Really happy to see it, and hopefully you guys that get your hands on it will be extremely happy with it as well. If you do get one, drop us a message and see what your experiences are with them. We're always happy to hear from you. As always, if you like the content that we're doing here and you're liking these videos, please subscribe to the YouTube and hit the bell. You'll get a notification every time we go live. And thanks very much for all the comments. It helps us out massively, makes these videos much easier to do. But if that is everything for today, we'll be back again tomorrow for another live stream with another product showcase. As always, if there's something you want us to cover, throw it to us on Instagram and we'll throw it to the top of the list as quickly as we can. But if that's everything today, as always, it's been a pleasure and I'll see you in a bit. Bye.